this is the Noob, and in this video I'm just going to briefly cover IDE issues on Linux, RCBasic Studio IDE Linux issues that have come up on the forum. So I have RCBasic Studio open right now, as you can see, and currently this should just work fine. I can switch between projects, I can save, just keep clicking save, nothing's gonna happen. It's pretty stable and it's not going to crash for the most part, but that is because, and I'll show you why. So the settings, and this is the reason why it's stable right now. For those who are on Linux and don't really understand too much about how Linux works behind the scenes, there's two different windowing systems right now. There's X11 and then there's Wayland. And Wayland is basically going to be like the new thing that's supposed to be replacing X11, and a lot of newer distros are shipping with it. On Wayland, RCBasic Studio crashes a lot, and to be honest, I've been trying to fix this issue for the past year. I don't know what's causing it, but there's actually a number of issues with Wayland in general. If you are on a Wayland system and you want to use the RCBasic Studio, I would recommend, if you wanted to use the Linux version, go into Edit, go to Preferences, and uncheck Enable Parser. And like you see, this note here says this will be applied the next time you start the editor. That means you have to, after you hit OK, you need to restart the editor, restart RCBasic Studio, and that is going to disable the parser. The parser is responsible for the symbol browser. So the way RCBasic Studio works is like there's a thread that goes through your file and parses the code and figures out what line a function or a variable was made on, and it adds it to the symbol browser. That functionality does not seem to work well with Wayland. Wayland, it crashes like a lot, especially if you have multiple projects open. But even with a single project, I've seen it crash. It doesn't happen on X11. It doesn't happen on Windows. I've even built RCBasic Studio for Mac in the past, and it didn't happen there. It's a Wayland specific issue. If you're on Ubuntu right now, I can show you again, back in settings. I am on Ubuntu 22.04 right now, and I'll probably stay on 22.04 until next year when the next LTS release comes out. But on Ubuntu right now, you do have the option of using X11 or Wayland. When you log in to Ubuntu, I can't show you this because if I log out to try to show you it, it would I wouldn't be able to use OBS. But when you log into Ubuntu, at the login screen, at the bottom, in the bottom right corner, there is a little cog icon. If you click on that, you can switch between Wayland or X11 when you log in. If you switch to X11, everything will just work. In fact, I'm going to make maybe a separate video just talking about Linux and X11 versus Wayland in general, but I do not like Wayland right now. Wayland is supposed to be this big grand thing, but RCBasic Studio is not the only thing that is broken in Wayland. OBS doesn't really work in Wayland. I can't record anything in Wayland with OBS. Discord screen sharing doesn't work in Wayland. There's so much stuff that is broken in Wayland, but that's where Linux is going to. So I'm assuming this stuff is going to get fixed pretty soon. But yeah, just so you know, right now That's the issue. So if you want to use RCBasic Studio on Linux, I would recommend either switching to an X11 session or going into Edit and Preferences and unchecking Enable Parser. Either of those two should should make RCBasic Studio stable on Linux. The other option is to just run the Windows version of RCBasic on Linux using Wine, and I've tested it. It actually runs really well. So here is the latest version of the latest Windows version of RCBasic, and if I just run Wine and RCBasic Studio, yeah, it runs just fine. And actually, in some cases, like this little line thing right here, it actually tracks the mouse. That doesn't even happen on Windows. So it actually runs a little bit. The Windows version actually runs a little bit better on Linux than it does on Windows. But yeah, if you like open up, I'm just gonna open up a project. Like this is the platformer demo that comes with RCBasic, and just run it. And you see it runs just fine on this is the Windows version running on Linux. It runs just fine, and you'll be able to do everything you need to. I would say you might not want to use I would say the Windows version of RCBasic runs great on Linux, and it's definitely an option for you. It runs really well. But if you want to build like an Android app, I would still say install the Linux version even if you're not using it, because you're going to want this along with Android Studio to build your Android app on Linux, because that's going to be a lot smoother experience for you. That's just my recommendation. But if you have any other questions, please post in the comments of this video or post on the forum or itch.io page. You can also post an issue on the GitHub repository as well. I'll answer in any of those locations, so you have options for how to reach me. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps.